we have discussed about the books which I asked you to refer. Mostly, I am asking you to refer Malvino and V.K. Mehta. Another is Boyle Study is also one of the good reference book, and Unified, which you always mostly BSc students follow. These books are also present in our library. So if you people decide any one day, uh, the library coordinator is Dr. Durga Rao sir. So we can fix one day. So any one day you can come and take the books also. Okay, so you have to let us know. Okay, so regarding this is regarding the books. Uh, so we have discussed about current. So what is current is the rate of flow of charge, and also we have discussed about voltage. It is the work required to move the charge in a circuit. So these are the fundamental concepts that we already come across in our 12 plus. In your BSc also you have studied these fundamental things. Then we have multiplied these two equations and we have obtained what is called power dissipated in a circuit. So these are okay for all of you. Then we have discussed about what are the different components of electric circuit. Okay, so one of the there are basically four components. First one is energy source. We have batteries. These are voltage source, and there are also some current source. Okay, then we have control elements which are like resistors, capacitors, inductors, diodes, and transistors. We already discussed that these three um, are the passive components and these are active components. What do you mean by passive components? By passive components, we mean that they don't give any gain to the current in a circuit. Whereas transistors, if you use transistors, we can actually amplify voltage or amplify the current to the output. So that is why transistors are known as active components. Then we have the third component is load. Load is basically resistors. Like here we have two different resistors. One is R1 and another is R2. So here we are taking the output at R2. We are taking the output at R2. So we say R2 is my load. Okay. So this is my energy source. This is my whole circuit. R2 is the load. And this particular conducting wire is my the path. Okay. So if anyone don't get doubts, you can raise hand anytime. Okay. So I will let to speak. So these are the four components for any electric circuit. We have electronic circuit. Okay, not electric circuit. It's electronic circuit. So why we need resistors? Why we need capacitors? We have already discussed in the last class. Okay. Then we have um, two types of energy sources, which are like voltage source and current source. Okay, so what is the difference between a voltage source and a current source? Here you can see this is a voltage source, the first one, and this is my current source. In the voltage source, I will have always a fixed input voltage or the voltage which is constant. So all the voltage will appear here. Whatever the voltage is in the input will appear in the output also. So ideally, a voltage source is one which gives a constant output voltage. Okay. So a voltage source ideally is the source which gives fixed voltage. Okay. Throughout the whatever resistors you keep, it should give the same voltage. So let's say it is like 5 ohms or 50 ohms or 100 ohms. So whatever resistors you take, the value of the voltage across the resistor will be same. So this voltage source will provide me a constant voltage output. So this is the definition of a voltage source. Similarly, there is something called current source. So the direction of this particular implies that current is in this direction. If I have a source which is indicating arrow down side, that means the current will be in the downwards direction. Okay, so how you define a current source? Current source is defined as a source which provides a constant current, which provides a constant current. Here we have uh, you can see in the graph, that the current value is ideally constant. So a current source is called uh, a one which provides a constant current. Okay, so sources always provide either constant voltage or constant current, and depending whether they are providing constant voltage or constant current, we call them a voltage source or a current source. Okay, and we have already discussed how the current generation is done in batteries. Here we have a lead acid battery. You can see there are two metal plates. One is of lead oxide, another is of lead. Okay, one second. So we have here, this one is a lead oxide and this one is a lead plates, and we have H2SO4 solution. So we have basically hydrogen ions and sulfate ions, and because of uh, these reactions which you can see here, uh, these plates will react with the ions in the solution, and they will start forming a lead sulfate um, uh, layer above these plates by generating electrons. Okay, and these electrons will form the current. So this is how we get uh, current in DC supplies. Okay, so this is how a lead acid discharges. So we get current through the load, and our work is done across the load. Okay, so this is in batteries we have chemical reactions which provide us electrons and which are responsible for forming the current. Okay, so over a time, their lifetime is over. So we cannot use. We know that batteries cannot be used over a long time because the things are open. But these batteries, like lead acid batteries, are secondary cells. So you can again charge them. So rechargeable batteries. In the rechargeable batteries, what we can do is when you charge it, you will provide electrons, and when you provide electrons, the lead sulfate which has already formed, okay, you have already formed lead sulfate, they will start turning back into lead, and they will start turning back into lead and lead oxide. So these are the uh, two particular metal plates be recovered. Okay, so this equation which you can see here in the final, this is both ways. Okay, so when you charge it, so in this direction it is discharging, and in this direction it is charging, provided you have to give an external power to the while charging. Okay, so this is how the current is generated in a DC power supply. Then we have already discussed about alternating current generation, where we have discussed there is a motor, okay, which will rotate the coil, and we know that there is a magnetic field from north pole to south pole. Now, whenever a coil rotates in a magnetic field, it will generate current in the coil. So, for half of the cycle, it will have current in one direction, and remaining half of the cycle, the current will be reversed in the coil. So, the output will be an alternating current with an increasing and decreasing values. Okay, so this is a principle of generating an alternating current. Okay, so the principle is basically electromagnetic induction, where current is generated by moving a coil in a magnetic field. Okay, so all the power what you have um, power supplying companies, they basically use this principle to provide us alternating current. Okay, then we have already discussed some of the current controlling components. There are like resistors, capacitors. The first one which we discussed is resistors. The function of the resistor is to limit the current. If you use a higher resistor value, you will have less current, and if you use a small resistor, you will have a high current. So we can see that resistors are basically to limit the current. So here, like these two resistors are in series. Okay, so this is a series circuit where R1 and R2 are series, and we have a common current, and we will get equivalent resistor RS. Similarly, we have a configuration which is called parallel, and here R1 and R2 are in parallel, and they will have different values of current I1 and I2 depending upon the values of resistors, but the voltage across both of them will be V. Okay, because they are in parallel, the voltage across each of them will be V only, but different currents. Whereas in the first case, when they are in series, we have common current value but different voltages. Okay. So this we have already discussed, and this is V3. Okay. Okay. So we have already the formulas like RS is equal to R1 plus R2. You can derive this from the Ohm's law, and RP will be R1 plus R2 by R1 plus R2. Okay. And the units is basically ohms. So this everyone knows, I assume. Okay, so if I give you three resistors, okay, so let's say 2 ohms and 10 ohms and 10 ohms, and I want a 7 ohm resistor. So I would like you guys to make a circuit. So the equivalent resistors will be 7 ohms. So let me know what will be the configuration. You can unmute yourself and okay. Yes, Lokesh. I have three resistors, 2 ohms, 10 ohms, and 10 ohms. I need a resistance value 7 ohms. How should I make the circuit? Yeah, anyone? It's a easy one, not very difficult. You should not take more than 30 seconds. Saket, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
So if we'll connect 10 ohms and 10 ohms in like 2 ohms and 10 ohms in series,
Okay,
and the third resistance in parallel,
okay.
then 12 and 120.
So you should tell me the order. I can draw here 2, 3 diagrams which you are saying. So you are saying like I have some uh, 10 ohms, 2 ohms. This is like 10 ohms. This is like 2 ohms. And then how I should connect them in parallel.
Uh,
Okay.
the third resistance will be in parallel, connected to both.
So you want to say like this, and this is the third 10 ohms.
Yes, sir.
So will it give me 12 ohms? Sorry, 7 ohms. Is this what you're saying, right?
Mm, yes, sir.
Is this circuit correct? Okay, so I will give you another diagram. So if I have like
No, sir.
this is like 2 ohms, and I have a 10 ohms and one more 10 ohm. So whether this will give, kindly check. So I have 10 ohms and 10 ohms in parallel, and those two are in series with
Seven.
2 ohms.
Yes, sir. 7 ohms.
And this will give me the 7 ohms
7
because
ohms.
these two will provide me a value of 5 ohms.
5 ohms and 5 plus 2 in series.
Okay, so this is my 2 ohms, and this will get me 5 ohms, and these two will give me a
7 ohms.
equivalent circuit of 7
7
ohms.
ohms.
Okay, so why we need series and parallel, that we have already discussed, that we need to somehow get values which we want. So okay, we don't have a 7 ohm resistors in market, but we can make up 7 ohm resistors by using 10 ohms or 2 ohms or two different 1 ohms also. So that is why we need this type of configurations. Okay, then we have Ohm's law. As all of you know, that current in a circuit is proportional to the potential across the circuit. So that will give us I is proportional to V by R, or V is equal to IR. So at this particular equation is saying that if we have a large resistance, there is a less current, and if we have a small resistance, we have high current. So this Ohm's law tells smaller resistance will allow more current, and higher resistance will allow low current. This is obvious. So that is what Ohm's law. But this is only for conductors. But for semiconductors, we don't have similar relation. Okay, for semiconductors, we don't get linear relation between I and V. Here we have like V is equal to IR. This is a linear relation. But when it comes to semiconductors, for diodes or transistors, we don't have this type of relation. So this is only for conductors like metals. Okay. Okay, so there is something called voltage divider circuit. So this figure we have already seen. So here we are basically dividing V1 and V2, and V2 is taken as output. So that is one of the function of resistors, that it can divide the voltage across the circuit. So you have some 5 volts, and you can divide 3 volts here and 2 volts here, and we say this circuit is a voltage divider circuit. So this is one of the, like, I want only 2 volts out in the output. I don't want 5 volt. So I can put a resistor such a way that I get only 2 volts. So this is circuit is used to obtain the desired output voltage. Then all of you have already seen this type of different resistors. Okay, there are fixed resistors and variable resistors. In fixed resistors, we have this type of particular resistors where the different color codes will indicate the value of resistors. Then you have also come across rheostat and potentiometer. In lab, you have like potentiometer is not like this. In labs, um, you have a long uh, what you say it, a wooden plank where you have wires. Okay, you have done this type of experiments. If you remember, in electricity magnetism labs, you have this type of things. Okay, so these two are variable resistors. That means we can vary the resistors while you move this particular indicator over the particular coils. We will get a different resistance values. Here we have two types. One is rheostat and one is potentiometer. A rheostat will basically the difference is only that it is like a uh, we have like fixed, we have two edges, only two endpoints. So rheostat is like a two terminal. Okay, whereas the potentiometer we have three terminal. That's the only difference. Remaining the work concept or whatever it is same. So here we have like a wiper contact in the potentiometer inside. This wiper will move, and accordingly we will get the desired result, desired resistance value. Okay, so you should know these are all particularly under the resistors, where fixed resistors or variable resistors. Okay, is this clear? Rheostat is a two-terminal device and potentiometer is a three-terminal device. Okay, both rheostat and potentiometer are variable resistors. Okay, then we have already discussed something Kirchhoff voltage law. Also, you have studied this. So Kirchhoff voltage law says that the voltage in a loop, okay, like this is one loop. Okay, sorry. So this is one loop. So I can say this is my loop one. Here I have loop two. Okay, and I can also take a bigger um, uh, this particular loop. So this is my loop 3. Okay. So what does a KVL indicates? A KVL says in any closed loop network, the total voltage around the loop is equal to the sum of all voltage drops within the same loop, which is equal to the 0. In other words, algebraic sum of all voltages within the loop must be equal to 0. So like I have here 5 volts. Let's say V1 is the voltage drop across R1, V2 is the voltage drop across R2, and V3 is the voltage drop across R3. So in the loop 1, so I will say loop 1. My equation is, how will I write? First thing is we have to give the polarities. So in a battery you have always negative plate and the positive plate. So when it is connected to a positive plate, so you will know that current will flow in the positive plate to negative plate. So here we give a positive polarity, here we give a negative polarity. Similarly, in this loop, I will give this as positive polarity and this as negative polarity. One second. Anil Kumar. Hello. Anil Kumar. Can you hear Anil? Anil,
Yes, sir.
why you are late?
Sir, I have not seen the timetable. Morning, if I have seen, it's not updated in GLAN, sir. So I don't know.
So please be regular, okay?
Okay, sir. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, so we were discussing loop 1. So the polarities is negative, positive. Then we have given R1 as positive and negative. And the loop 1, we have to see the direction which we are flowing. So here we are flowing in a clockwise direction. So whatever polarity you will face first, you have to give them positive. Like here I start from R1. Okay, so this is the direction which I'm moving. The first one is R1. Let's say the current is I or I1. So I will write I1 into R1. Again, I encounter plus and minus. So again, I will write plus, let's say here it is I2. And this is my I3. Okay, so I2 into R3, and I come across the negative sign of the battery. Minus 5 volt is 0. Okay, so we have to indicate the polarities, and whatever polarity you are facing first, that will be the symbol of or the signature sign of the particular component. Okay, so now we will see the other component like the loop 2. Loop 2, we have two resistors. What will be the loop 2 equation? So we have considering this direction again clockwise, and this is plus because current is flowing in this direction. I3 is flowing from plus to minus. It's a higher potential and it is a lower potential. So I3 will flow from plus to minus. So I will write I3 into R2. Okay, and here we have the first which is encountering is a negative sign, and here we have a plus sign. So we say minus I2 into R3 is 0. So this is the loop 2 equation. If we consider the loop 3, okay, so let's say this is my loop 3, which I have R1 and R2 and the battery. So I will say plus I1 R1 and I3 R3 minus 5 volt is 0. So when you solve these three equations, you will get I1, I2 and I3.
Sir, I3 R2, sir.
Okay, sorry, I3 and R2. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is Kirchhoff voltage law. So Kirchhoff voltage law means in any loop the total voltage is zero. Okay, so here we have another law that is called Kirchhoff current law, which says that at any node, so this is the node, if you have I1, here you have I2 and I3. So according to Kirchhoff current law, I1 is I2 plus I3. Okay, so this is Kirchhoff uh, current law. So you can replace here I3 as I1 as I2 plus I3, and you can solve I2 and I3, and then you will get I1. Okay, is this part clear? Then we go for some problems. Okay, this is again the same thing. The algebraic sum of all currents entering a and exiting a node must be equal to 0. So what are the nodes? Like here is one node. Okay, and here is another node. So if you have I, let's say, sorry, this direction is this, I1, I2. So this is I2, this is I1, and this is I. So in both cases, we have I is equal to I1 plus I2. Okay, that is called Kirchhoff current law. Now you have this example. You take 5 minutes. Try this example. Tell me what is the voltage across AB. If I have to measure voltage across point A and point B, what will be the value? Okay. So I want you to try. Take 5 to 10 minutes and let me know. Then we will discuss. And this is the problem. We have a source 24 volt and three resistors 1, 2, 3 kilo ohms. And I want to know what is the voltage drop or the voltage across point A and point B. Anyone found answer? Did you get the answer? Anyone? So, um, so let's say this is the first loop. So I will give the polarities. So this is like plus, minus, plus, minus. Let's say this is plus, minus. Okay. Again, this is plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay. So this is the direction of current. So what will be the equation?
Sir, is it 32, sir? Answer?
No, you got only 24 volts. Your VAB cannot be more than 24 volts. The power is itself is 24, right?
Yes, sir.
How can you get more than 24?
Yeah.
It should be less than 24. There is a voltage drop across this 2 kilo ohms and the remaining also. So that you have to check.
Okay, sir.
Try again. So here I will follow this particular direction. So I have like minus. So I will start from the first resistor. So it is like let's say the current is I. So I have I 2 kilo ohms into I 2I plus VAB minus 24 volt is 0. Okay. Then I again another loop is I will take this one loop 2. Let's say this is I1 and I2. Okay. So what will be the second equation? I will have 1 kilo ohm into I2 plus 3 kilo ohms into I2. Okay, and minus VAB equal to 0. This is the second equation. Okay, and the third, if you want the whole loop also, you can write again like I 2I plus 1 I2 plus 3 I2 minus 24 volts is 0. Now you have to solve these equations. Here we have I is equal to I1 plus I2. Okay, so solving these you will get VAB.
Sir, 12.
12 volts.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let everyone find it. So your class strength is like 22 students, but only 11 students are there. Where are the others not getting information? So please do inform to attend classes. Okay, those who have finished, we can discuss. Make this circuit and try this also. Find what are the currents in different branches. Let this be a homework, this circuit. We have three different voltages, 30 volts, 10 volts and 5 volts, and four resistors. You try this at, of course you are at home, so again at home only. Okay, tomorrow we discuss this problem and we will continue. Yeah, anyone else got the answers? Tomorrow we have lab in the morning time. So here also we have like minus, plus, plus minus, this is plus minus, so this is minus, this is plus, and let's say this is plus minus. Okay, since current will flow, sorry, this will be the direction. Okay, so you can say try to solve. So you can, if the direction of the current is like this, then you have plus minus.
Sir,
Ah,
sir, can I get the homework question once again? I was not able to note it.
yeah, it is on the screen.
Oh, this is it. Okay, sir.
Yeah, you have three voltage sources: 30 volt, 10 volt, and 5 volt. And then you can see that there are resistors 2 ohms, 3 ohms, and 4 ohms. And you have to find what are the value of currents in each of the branch.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone want to say something? Where you are facing any issues, then let me know. So we can somehow try to minimize.
Sir, if we could get these links one day earlier, like this, today the link was really late. We all
Yeah,
joined late.
I will post the links like 15 minutes before into your WhatsApp group. If you are in the WhatsApp group, you will get the link. Because we create session in the morning time only before the class, like half an hour or 15 minutes before. If you are the timetable should be with you, so I think someone has to post the timetable in your group. Okay, so that will solve the problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then it's like time is 11 o'clock. You have any other classes now? 11.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we meet in the next class. We will try to go a little bit faster. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay then. Thanks all.
Yes, sir.